Imagine that. Every sunrise you wake to, every night that wraps you in its silence, every laugh, every kiss, every drop of sweat upon your brow, coins slipping through your hand, traded above your head in a market you never see. There, angels are the buyers. They purchase hope. They invest in kindness. They accumulate compassion and faith, not as abstract virtues, but as living shares. Demons, on the other hand, are the sellers. They flood the market with despair, with envy, with rage. They speculate on your fears, they short sell your courage, and every second of your life is a tick on their eternal chart. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you of the man who stumbled into this marketplace. A man whose soul became the fulcrum on which heaven and hell leveraged eternity. His name was Jack Smith. Jack Smith was not a saint. He was not even a good man. He was, in fact, the very embodiment of cold ambition. Born into the streets of London, raised not by love, but by the architecture of institutions, he grew into one of the most ruthless bankers in the world. He rose year by year until he became head of investment and capital markets for one of the most powerful financial institutions on earth. And though many admired him, few loved him, for Jack loved no one. He trusted no soul, he cared for no heart. His companions were digits, his friends were numbers. He did not see a crying child, he saw cash flow. He did not see a starving worker, he saw liquidity drain. He did not see reality, he saw charts, arrows, lines of profit. He looked upon existence and saw only money moving in strings of invisible current. Childhood? He had erased it. Somewhere deep in his mind, his consciousness had locked away every trace of memory, every scent of innocence, every image of love or loss. For Jack believed that memory was weakness, that nostalgia dulled the senses in the war for enrichment, and so he buried it. He was steel, he told himself. He was glass, reflecting the world but never absorbing it. Above him towered his idol, Carl Blackchild. Remember this name, for it is carved into the hidden history of our world. Carl was no ordinary banker. He was a god in a three-piece suit. He held the shafts of global finance in his hands, directing the flow of trillions with the flick of a pen. But Carl was more than a financier. He was the leader of the most secretive, most powerful organization on this planet. An order without name, older than nations, which once bent the world through pontiffs and now through bankers. Carl's headquarters stood above the prime meridian itself, that line which divides east from west, time from time. Beneath his castle hummed technologies no human eye was ever meant to see. Engines distilling the frequencies of every living being, every joy, every sorrow, every whisper of life converted into signals, transmitted across planes, delivered into the hands of beings who were not human at all. Yes, Carl was not merely a titan of Earth. He was the first mortal banker to run the eternal stock exchange, and Jack followed him with admiration. He saw in Carl the final form of power. He believed that if he worked, if he fought, if he abandoned every last vestige of humanity, he too could become untouchable. But fate has a way of shattering illusions. One night, after a party drenched in false laughter, Jack's journey changed forever. A car, a crash, a flash of pain, then darkness. His body broken, his breath faint, he was carried into a hospital by a woman cloaked in shadows, a long-haired silhouette no one could name. Machines beeped, nurses hurried, but Jack Smith slipped away. He did not die, not fully. Instead, he entered a state between states, a coma, a threshold, a borderland. And while his body lay inert, his soul was seized. He was pulled, no, dragged into another dimension. His guide? Not a solemn angel, not a fierce warrior, but a child. A sarcastic, nervous, fussing child, quick with insults, impatient with Jack's disbelief, and yet, this child was no ordinary boy. He was a celestial courier, appointed to escort Jack through initiation chambers where truths of the universe flickered like flame. What Jack saw there undid everything he thought he knew. He saw the birth of the time being, the essence of existence itself, born anew, flowing through life carriers, which we call people. He saw how every life was a river, beginning and ending, timed and finite. He saw that nothing in the cosmos is free, not stars, not galaxies, not men. Everything begins, everything ends. And the whole of reality is a market, an immense, intricate capital system where the currency is days. And then the revelation struck him like thunder. He was not merely a spectator. He was not merely a man. His soul was time itself. Meanwhile, in the terrestrial dimension, his body lay vulnerable. At his side stood Albert and Claire, fragments of his past. Companions from a secret abbey where the unnamed organization had once raised him. They watched over him as the Praetorians, Carl's merciless guards, received their orders: find Jack Smith, bring him back. For Carl knew that Jack's soul was not merely currency, it was the balance. Above, in the eternal exchange, the market raged. At the age of 18, every human is listed. Their days are converted into life titles, tradable, measurable, speculated upon. Every act, every thought, every heartbeat generates frequencies. The positive are invested by angels, the negative by demons. And together, these transactions maintain or disrupt the equilibrium of the universe. Jack saw it. The ring of angels and devils shouting like brokers on the floor of the exchange, each bidding for hope, each selling despair, each fighting to tilt the balance. The eternal stock exchange was no sanctuary, it was no temple, it was war. And for the first time, Jack Smith understood what money could not buy. He saw that his life, like every life, was a finite cash flow of days. Do you feel it, my friends? The ticking in your chest? That is not rhythm, that is a countdown. Every heartbeat is a coin leaving your account. Every morning is a withdrawal. Every night is a settlement. Angels buy your hope. Demons sell your fear. And the market never closes. Jack's arrogance crumbled. His walls dissolved. He realized he had spent his life hoarding the wrong wealth. For money can be lost and regained. But a day, once spent, is gone forever. Carl Blackchild, however, would not let him escape. For Carl knew the truth. If humanity woke to this knowledge, if men and women understood that their true fortune was not gold but time, his empire would fall. The banks would collapse. The towers would crumble. For who would worship interest rates when they could see eternity? So the battle began. Not with swords, not with fire, but with shares, with trades, with the balance of souls. Jack Smith became Celestial Jack, the broker between worlds, the reluctant arbiter of heaven and hell. His soul was the pivot. His choices were the trades. And through him, the market itself trembled. Now I ask you, what would you do if you knew your days were currency? Would you hoard them, stacking them like coins, never spending, always fearing the end? Or would you invest them? Would you risk them on love, on courage, on kindness, on hope? For this is the truth of existence. Life is not infinite. Life is not endless. Life is a finite cash flow of days, and every one of us is already listed. Every one of us is already traded. Every one of us stands on the floor of the exchange, even if we cannot see the screens. So let me tell you again. On that invisible market, angels buy hope. Demons sell despair. And every moment is a volatile asset. But when the balance tilts, when the future melts before our eyes, when the exchange threatens to collapse, one man, one soul, one Jack can change the rules of the game. Celestial Jack. Not a banker, not a saint. A man like you, like me, whose life was traded until he learned the truth. And so I leave you with a question, not for me, not for angels, not for demons, but for yourself. When your ticker runs silent, when your stock is delisted, when your last day is spent, what will your balance sheet say? Because life is not lived. It is